Picture this. Habs faithful. The Montreal Canadiens are navigating one of the most fascinating and consequential roster decisions of their entire rebuild. A situation that seemed perfectly settled just 12 months ago has transformed dramatically, creating one of the most compelling storylines of this offseason. Samuel Montembeault, the steady, dependable veteran who carried our crease through the toughest years of our rebuild, now finds himself in an increasingly uncomfortable position. The organizational landscape in Montreal's goaltending pipeline has shifted seismically, and the ripple effects of that shift are about to be felt in a very real, very significant way. Let's set the scene with brutal honesty. Montembeault has been nothing short of admirable in his role as our primary starter over the past 2 seasons. He stepped up when this team needed stability, posting respectable numbers behind a roster that was still finding its identity. He handled the workload, absorbed the pressure, and gave us a fighting chance night after night. But the NHL is a results business, and the goaltending landscape inside the Canadiens organization has evolved at a pace that nobody fully anticipated. Jakob Dobes has not merely been adequate in his increased opportunities. He has been genuinely excellent, stepping up in critical playoff moments and proving beyond reasonable doubt that he belongs at this level. And then there's Jacob Fowler, the 21-year-old prodigy that everyone inside the organization views as the undisputed future of this franchise in net. When you have Dobes performing at a high level and Fowler knocking aggressively on the NHL door, the uncomfortable mathematical reality becomes unavoidable. There are only 2 crease spots available, and right now, the organizational direction is pointing firmly toward a younger tandem. Montembeault, despite his professionalism and his genuine contributions, is caught in the middle of a transition that is bigger than any individual player. His role, once clearly defined and seemingly secure, is now anything but. This organizational shift naturally opens the door to trade conversations, and those conversations are already beginning to percolate around the league. The return from Montembeault is unlikely to be spectacular, and the teams circling him understand Montreal's situation clearly. They know the Canadiens have superior young goaltending arriving, which limits our leverage at the negotiating table. A mid-round pick, a depth piece, perhaps a combination of both. That is the realistic range for what Hughes can extract. But even a modest return is meaningful for a team that is constantly looking to optimize every asset, every resource, every piece of the puzzle. This is less about what Montembeault fetches in a trade, and more about what that trade enables the Canadiens to pursue elsewhere. Let's examine the potential destinations, because the fit matters enormously for both sides of any transaction. The Ottawa Senators emerge as perhaps the most natural landing spot. Ottawa has spent years wrestling with goaltending instability, cycling through options in search of a reliable partner for whoever their starter happens to be at any given moment. While Linus Ullmark has brought a welcome measure of stability to the crease, there remains a genuine need for a dependable backup who can step in without the situation deteriorating immediately. Montembeault fits that profile with precision. His calm, structured style, the kind of game that doesn't rely on highlight reel athleticism but instead on positioning, reading plays, and making the saves he's supposed to make, would actually suit Ottawa's system quite well. The Senators still experience the occasional defensive lapse, and Montembeault's ability to remain composed behind imperfect defensive structure is a valuable and underrated quality. The Los Angeles Kings represent another compelling fit for a very different set of reasons. Los Angeles has always been a low event, defensively responsible team, a system that suppresses shots and limits high-danger chances. In that environment, Montembeault wouldn't need to be a highlight reel or a game stealer. He would need to be precisely what he has always been: steady, predictable, and capable of giving his team a chance to win on any given night. The Kings' goaltending has been a persistent question mark when playoff pressure intensifies, and adding a proven veteran with playoff experience could provide meaningful stability. Crucially, this would also be a liberating situation for Montembeault himself. No longer would he be constantly looking over his shoulder at Dobes and Fowler pushing for his minutes. He could embrace a clearly defined role and perform within it with confidence. The Edmonton Oilers, as always, inject themselves into every goaltending conversation for a reason that is impossible to ignore. The Connor McDavid championship window forces an urgency that makes every available option worth examining. Edmonton has cycled through enough inconsistency in net to make any reliable, proven option attractive. Montembeault has demonstrated the ability to handle significant volume and perform behind teams that are not always defensively clean, which is a prerequisite for surviving behind the Oilers. They don't need perfection. They never have. They need stability, composure, and the ability to prevent games from tilting catastrophically in the wrong direction during stretches when the defense breaks down. Montembeault can provide exactly that. The broader strategic question for Kent Hughes isn't simply about finding the right trade partner. It's about timing and organizational clarity. The Canadiens tried a similar balancing act previously with Jake Allen, maintaining a veteran presence while younger options developed. That experience informs the current decision-making process. A two-goalie system built around proven, complementary options. Makes fundamental sense. But when the two goalies the organization is most invested in are both younger than your current veteran starter, maintaining that veteran becomes increasingly difficult to justify. The roster spot, the cap space, the ice time, and most importantly, the developmental opportunity for Dobes and Fowler. All of these resources are more valuable allocated toward the future than toward maintaining a middle-career veteran in an awkward, undefined role. This is ultimately about organizational direction, not about Montembeault's character or capability. He has been a professional, a competitor, and a genuine contributor to our rebuild. But the Canadiens are no longer rebuilding. They are contending, and contending organizations make cold, strategic decisions based on where they're going rather than where they've been. Dobes has earned more looks. Fowler is coming. The future in net belongs to these two young goalies, and clearing the path for them is not just logical, it is necessary. So, let's throw the toughest question of this goaltending saga directly at the Habs faithful. Given that Dobes has performed excellently and Fowler is the organization's anointed future, should Kent Hughes prioritize moving Montembeault as quickly as possible this summer, even if that means accepting a below-market return, or should he be patient? Showcase Montembeault during training camp to maximize his value, and only pull the trigger when the right offer emerges? What's your call? Move fast and clear the path for you immediately, or play the long game and extract maximum value. Drop your answer in the comments, and let's get this debate roaring louder than the Bell Center on a playoff night. As we continue to monitor every development in this fascinating goaltending situation, the future of the Canadiens between the pipes has never looked brighter or more exciting. Dobes and Fowler represent a generational opportunity to build sustained excellence in net. If you're as fired up as I am about the direction of this franchise and our relentless pursuit of the Stanley Cup, smash that like button and subscribe. We are covering every move, every rumor, and every step of this journey together. Habs Nation. The future is arriving faster than you think. It looks absolutely spectacular.